our Chris Van Allsburg author and illustrator study. I have a couple questions that Chris Van Allsburg was asked and his answers, and these might be some things that you were wondering too. The first question is, where do you get your ideas? And he answered, the ideas for my books come to me in different ways. For instance, I once was standing in my kitchen and saw 2 ants on the countertop. I believe the ants came from my backyard and began to wonder what a trip from the backyard to my kitchen would be like for an ant. That started me thinking about a story of 2 ants and their unusual journey into a house. The story became 2 Bad Ants. On another occasion, I was cleaning up my daughter Sophia's room when she was about 4 years old and saw a Peter Pan coloring book on the floor. It was open to a picture of Princess Tiger Lily, who was sinking in a pool of water and had a terrified look on her face, calling out for Peter's help. My daughter had colored Tiger Lily's face in green and purple streaks, and it looked to me as if the princess's terrified look was a reaction to the way Sophia had colored her. This started me thinking about how characters who live in coloring books might feel when the page they are on gets opened up and it's their turn to be colored. This is a bad day at Riverbend. It's a pretty neat story, and a lot of kids have said to me, Mrs. Terowitz, somebody colored in this book, but it's part of the story. The next question is, do you have any children? And yes, he has 2 children, Sophia and Anna, and sometimes they model as the characters in the story, such as in Zathura, they modeled, but they were actually boy characters. Why do you put that little white dog in all of your books? Do you have a dog like that? Now, the dog that he's referring to is Fritz, and Fritz is in every single book. We know in the Garden of Abdul Ghazazi, he was one of the main characters, but he has appeared in every single book since. So if you would like to pause this video, you can read about why he puts that dog in all of his books. By the way, sometimes he's easy to spot, like in Jumanji, he was pretty easy to spot, and other times he's really tricky to find. In the story today, you're really going to have to look for Fritz. Might not be all of him. That's your only hint. So our story today is called The Wretched Stone. So wretched, that's a word that means terrible, wicked. And stone, of course, is like a small rock. So what is the wretched stone? That's what you're going to have to think about. We do not find the answer in the book. He does not tell us what the wretched stone is. So you're going to be inferring from what you've read and all the details what the wretched stone could be. After the story's over, I'd like you to share in the comments what you think the wretched stone is. Don't worry if it's not the right answer. You can be creative. It could be something that's not real. Just really think about it. But you do have to provide 2 details from the text that support your answer. Okay? So if you think the wretched stone is a planet, you have to tell me 2 things in the story that happened to make you think that. No, that's not the right answer. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. I hope you enjoy the book, The Wretched Stone. Before you go, I wanted to show you, this is the captain in the story. And if you look very closely at the captain, his face should look a little familiar. And that's because Chris Van Allsburg did a self-portrait. Chris Van Allsburg made himself the character, the captain on the boat. I hope you enjoyed the book.